All right, over the next few minutes, we're going to give you a blueprint, a way to build your very own digital fortress, brick by brick, to keep you safe in this whole work-from-home world.
And look, this isn't just some generic advice we pulled out of thin air. We're pulling this straight from a super detailed report by the folks at Virtualization Options LLC, a Colorado-based tech research and education firm that really digs into the security challenges of working remotely.
So, let's kick things off with a really important question. As our homes became our offices, those old security walls that used to protect us at corporate HQ, they basically crumbled, leaving you more exposed than you probably realize.
I mean, that line between work and home, it's pretty much gone. So, if you've ever used your work laptop for a little online shopping, yeah, you're definitely not alone. A staggering 78% of us use our work devices for personal stuff, and that creates all these hidden security risks we don't even think about.
Okay, so if we're going to build this fortress, we first have to understand the layout of the land, right? We need to map the battlefield. And this new battlefield, with all its hidden traps, looks an awful lot like your home office.
You might think it all starts and ends with your work laptop. But the real attack surface, that's the security term for it, is way, way bigger. It's your phone, that smart speaker in the kitchen, and yep, even your Wi-Fi router. Every single one is another potential unlocked door for an intruder.
Okay, let's get to it. Time to start building our defenses, and we're going to start with Layer 1, locking down the actual hardware you touch and use every single day. This is your front line.
First things first, let's nail the fundamentals. If your company gives you gear, use it. Seriously. It's usually locked down and configured for security right out of the box. And you have to make sure full disk encryption is turned on. That's stuff like BitLocker or FileVault. That way, if your laptop ever gets stolen, the data on it is just unreadable gibberish.
Now, this is really interesting, because you know how password advice has totally changed over the years? Remember when they told us to create these crazy, complex passwords with symbols and numbers and change them all the time? Well, forget that. The modern guidelines say that length and uniqueness are what really matter. A long, memorable phrase you only use for one website is way more secure.
And this is probably the single most effective thing you can do for your security. Multi-factor authentication, or MFA. Just think of it like a second digital deadbolt on your door. It is so incredibly effective that it blocks over 99.9% of automated hacking attempts. Just gone. All because it asks for that little extra code from your phone.
Okay, so our devices are locked down. That's Layer 1 in the books. Now let's move up to Layer 2, fortifying the network that all those devices connect to. This is all about locking the main gateway to your digital world.
Think of your home router as the main gate to your entire digital castle. And guess what? Most of them are shipped from the factory with the gate just wide open. Changing that default admin password from something lame like admin to your own unique password is non-negotiable. Same with upgrading your encryption to WPA3 and turning off remote management. Just doing those three things is a massive security upgrade.
All right, let's level up with a couple more best practices here. Using a VPN is absolutely essential. It's like sending your data through a private, armored tunnel that nobody can peek into. And if you want to get really serious, you can segment your network. That's kind of like putting your work computer in its own high-security vault, completely separate from your smart TV or thermostat.
Okay, we've locked down the hardware, we've fortified the network, but you can do all of that perfectly, and it can all come crashing down if we forget about the most important and, yeah, the most vulnerable layer of all, us. The human firewall.
You know, the report we're basing this on puts it perfectly. It says, while technical vulnerabilities present significant challenges, human behavior remains the most critical factor in remote work security. In other words, technology gives us the locks, but it's our habits that decide whether or not we actually use them. Let me give you a perfect example of this in action from a real-world case study. First, you have the lure, a super convincing, urgent-sounding email from the CEO. But then, the defense. The employee just felt something was off, noticed a few red flags, and instead of clicking, they picked up the phone to verify. Now, MFA did block the hacker's login attempt, but the attack was truly stopped because a human being was paying attention. That's the human firewall.
Okay, I know. This can all sound like a lot to take in, so let's boil it all down. Let's make this super actionable. Here are 3 quick wins. 3 high-impact things you can do right now to start building your fortress.
First up, get a password manager. Seriously, just do it. It solves the whole long, unique password problem for you, so you don't even have to think about it. This is probably the best security habit you can build.
Second, and this will take you maybe 5 minutes, go enable multi-factor authentication on your email, your bank, your main work accounts, everywhere you can. It is an absolute game changer.
And number 3, this one's all about habit. Lock your screen every single time you get up from your desk. Hit that shortcut. It's the Windows key plus L on Windows or Control-Command-Q on a Mac. It's muscle memory that protects you from anyone who might just walk by your machine. Look, building that digital fortress isn't some huge, overwhelming project you have to do all at once. It's about laying one good brick and then another one tomorrow and another the day after that. Every small step makes your fortress that much stronger. So the only question left is, which brick are you going to lay today?